The lunch rush at Cafe Verona was in full swing when Sophia, a young waitress with a gentle smile and an unshakable calm, balanced a tray of cappuccinos. The little cafe in downtown Chicago wasn't glamorous, but it was hers to bring warmth to, her way of creating small moments of joy in a bustling city. She didn't notice him at first, the man who walked in with the kind of presence that demanded attention. A tailored navy suit, perfectly polished shoes, and an aura that screamed wealth and power. When he slid into a corner seat and snapped his fingers for the menu, every head in the cafe instinctively stiffened. "Ah, the special of the day?" he asked, his accent sharp, unmistakably Italian. "I suppose this place serves anything edible?" His eyes scanned Sophia with a mixture of impatience and condescension. Sophia's heart sank for a split second, but she reminded herself, kindness isn't about being treated kindly, it's about giving kindness anyway. "I assure you, sir," she said softly, "our chef takes pride in every dish, and I'm certain you'll enjoy it." He raised an eyebrow, smirk widening. "You speak English well, for someone who clearly isn't used to refinement." The word stung. Sophia's stomach twisted, but instead of shrinking, she leaned in slightly, keeping her voice steady. And then, in perfect Italian, she replied, "Signore, la vera raffinatezza non si misura dai vestiti o dal denaro. Si misura dalla gentilezza che si offre agli altri. Sir, true refinement isn't measured by clothes or money. It's measured by the kindness one shows to others." For a moment, the cafe went silent. Even the barista paused mid-pour. The man's eyes widened. His smirk faltered. Words caught in his throat. He had expected hesitation, stammering, maybe a timid apology. But not this. A waitressing young woman speaking his mother tongue flawlessly and daring to mirror his arrogance with grace. He cleared his throat, searching for something to say. But Sophia simply smiled, warm, unshakable, and entirely unafraid. You speak Italian?" he finally stammered, his voice softer now, tinged with disbelief. "I do," Sophia said gently. "And I've learned that a little kindness can speak louder than any insult." He looked around the cafe, suddenly seeing the warmth he had ignored before, the quiet conversations, the laughter, the care Sophia had woven into every detail, the flowers on each table, the chalkboard messages written with love, the way she remembered every regular's favorite order. It was a kind of wealth no bank account could measure. For the first time that day, the billionaire felt small. Not because of money, not because of status, but because he had momentarily forgotten what humanity truly looked like. He leaned back in his chair, a rare humility softening his sharp features. "I underestimated you," he admitted almost inaudibly. Sophia nodded, her smile steady. "We all have our moments. What matters is what we do next." Over the next hour, something unexpected happened. He asked questions, not about stock portfolios or luxury cars, but about the cafe, the staff, and the people Sophia served. He even offered to sponsor a charity drive for the local community center. Sophia accepted, but more importantly, she saw the man begin to shift. Not overnight, but in that moment a seed of change had been planted. As he left, he hesitated at the door. "Grazie, Sophia, you've reminded me what truly matters." She smiled, waving him goodbye. Knowing she hadn't just defended her dignity, she had reminded someone powerful that compassion, humility, and human kindness are more valuable than any fortune. The cafe buzzed on, but something in the air felt lighter. "And Sophia?" She went back to her tray of cappuccinos, quietly happy, knowing that small acts of courage and kindness could echo far beyond the walls of her little cafe. In that brief encounter, the world felt a little brighter, not because wealth changed hands, but because a single act of courage and grace reminded a man that true power lies in kindness, not status. The billionaire lingered by the door longer than necessary, as if the weight of Sophia's words had pulled him out of a world he'd long taken for granted. Outside, the city's noise felt different, less urgent, less sharp, because somehow in that small cafe, he'd glimpsed a reality that didn't revolve around power or money. Sophia wiped down a table nearby, her movements calm, almost meditative. She didn't need to look up to know he was watching. There was a subtle shift in the air, a quiet acknowledgement that something meaningful had occurred. He spoke again, almost to himself. I've spent so much time chasing what I thought mattered. And I forgot the simplest truths. Sophia paused, her hand on the cloth. It's never too late to remember, she said softly. He nodded, and for the first time his gaze wasn't condescending. It was curious, reflective, even vulnerable. Then, with a half-smile, he said, Would you maybe teach me about your world? Sophia raised an eyebrow, surprised. Teach you? Yes, he said, a hint of humility in his tone. About kindness, patience, and humanity. I've been very successful at the wrong things. Maybe it's time to learn something real. Sophia considered him for a moment. She saw the potential, the genuine desire to change, and realized this encounter could ripple far beyond the walls of her cafe. All right, she said finally. But first start small. Every day counts more than grand gestures. And that was how their unlikely friendship began. Over cups of coffee, quiet afternoons, and long conversations, he learned lessons that no boardroom could teach him. Lessons about empathy, respect, and the power of small, meaningful acts. Months later, the cafe hosted a charity event for underprivileged children. The same billionaire, once impatient and arrogant, now stood beside Sophia, arranging tables, serving food, and speaking kindly to every volunteer and guest. His presence no longer intimidated, but inspired. Sophia watched him from across the room and felt a quiet satisfaction. Not because he had changed overnight, but because he had chosen to change at all. That choice, small yet profound, had the power to influence countless others. As the sun set over the city skyline, the cafe glowed warmly from within. Laughter, chatter, and the aroma of fresh coffee filled the air. Sophia smiled to herself, knowing that sometimes all it takes is courage and kindness to transform a moment, and perhaps even a life. And in that transformation, a simple truth shone bright. Compassion is contagious, humility is powerful, and a single act of grace can leave an indelible mark on the world.